Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sacha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivashakan Vitam Sacha Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Guru Abhishta Shapurakam Guru Ganarashisa Sambhushitam Chinta Chintu Samasta Vedanipunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Vartanum Bhaktianvitam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divya Bhagavat Premno Hibij Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandravadanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandranandapuram Sadeka Varnam Vairagya Vidyam Budem Shri Siddhantanidhim Subhaktilasitam Saraswatarambaram Vandetam Shubhadam Vadep Kusharanam Nyasiswaram Śrīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gauriya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhat Gagne Gaura Sankirtanaye Mayavad Timingilo Daragatan Udritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdigahan Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gaurangri Padma Bhrangaya Radha Bhava Nishevine Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Sharupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhanidim Gaura Vrajashita Sheshaira Vaishnaveira Vanda Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Madda Vaishnavam Vancha Kalpataru Bhayascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tushe Namah Sashtang Dandat Pranam to all Vaishnavas, devotees, servitors at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt, Param Guru Mahārāj and Gurudev's Divine Mission the world over. And everyone else is welcome to our Friday evening online Sangha, sanctioned and authorized and ordered by Srila Bhaktivavan Janardhan Mahārāj at the beautiful Sokal Puri, at the lotus feet of our lordships, Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhariju, trying to be of some service to the servitors. I have Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu with me. Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Good to have you, as usual. So, we're reading The Search for Sri Krishna Reality, the Beautiful. So, we're going to pick up from where we left off. And we will begin from there. So, anyone interested in following where we're at, we are on page 47, Saints, Scriptures and Gurus, Hegel's Self-Determination. So you can follow us. So in Hegelian language, this is called self-determination. Self-determination means we must die to live. We must leave our material life and all our material habits. We have to die as we are if we want to have a real life. we must give up our false ego. Our material habits from different births are collected in the ego in subtle forms, not only from the experience of human birth, but even from animal births, tree births, and so many other births. Krishna consciousness means the wholesale dissolution of the false ego. That concocted, selfish figure within us is our enemy. The real self is hopelessly buried beneath the false ego. So great is the depth of our forgetfulness that we do not even know who we are. So as the German philosopher Hegel said, we have to die to live. Reality is for itself and by itself. The world is not created for our selfish end. It has a universal end. And we are part and parcel of that. We must come to an understanding with the whole. The complete whole is Krishna, and he is dancing, playing, and singing in his own way. We must enter into that harmonious dance. Being infinitesimal, should we think that the infinite must be controlled by us? That by our whim everything will go on? This is the most crooked, heinous object ever conceived, and we are suffering from such a disease. This is the real problem in society. Our inquiry should be aimed at solving this. Student, does this mean we have to give up material life completely? Śrīdhar Mahārāj, not at once. Everyone must progress gradually, according to his own particular case. If one who has much affinity towards worldly life suddenly leaves that, he may not keep up his vows. He may go down again. So, according to personal capacity, we must make gradual progress. This is to be taken into consideration. But still, we should always be eager to give up everything and devote ourselves exclusively to the highest duty. Those who have enough courage will jump into the unknown thinking, Krishna will protect me. I am jumping in the name of God. He is everywhere. He will take me on his lap. With this idea, one who has real eagerness for the truth may leap forward. Student, I have a problem. For 10 years, I have tried to take up this process. For 10 years, I have kept from eating meat, fish, and eggs. I avoid material things. I have no attraction for them. I have left all this behind. But there is one thing I want to give up. And also, I don't want to give up. This is ganja. Śrīdhar Mahārāj, that is a small thing. There are 3 real difficulties. The first is women, the second is money, and the third, good name and fame. These 3 are our enemies. Marijuana, intoxication, is a small thing. Anyone can give it up easily. But these 3 things are the fundamental aspiration of every animal, tree, bird, man, or God. These 3 are everywhere. But intoxication and other fleeting habits are very negligible things and can be conquered very easily. as we have gradually come into the habit of intoxication, we have to come out gradually and not suddenly. Just after World War II, we read in the newspaper that Goering, what is this name, Arun Prabhu? Hitler's air general, Goering.
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay. Hitler's air general was habituated to taking much intoxication. But when he was put into jail, no intoxication was supplied to him. He became sick, but treatment went on, and he was cured. His disease was cured by the medicine. We also have seen so many opium eaters who came here, joined the temple, and gradually left their habit. Many so-called sadhus smoke marijuana. It helps concentration. But that is the material mind. It disturbs faith. It is an enemy to faith. No material intoxication, but only faith can take us to our desired goal. The misguided souls think that marijuana, hashish, and so many other things can help us in our meditation. It may do something, but that is mundane, and that will frustrate us in our time of need. These things cannot help us rise up very high. Okay, so the next section reads, Sex, Dope and Gold. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 17th chapter, verse number 38, advises that these 5 things should be rejected. Dyutam, gambling or diplomacy. Panam, intoxication, including tea, coffee, betel, and everything else. Striya, unlawful, illegal woman love. Suna, butchering, and the transaction of gold. Trade in gold makes one very apathetic towards progress in the line of faith. These 5 are very tempting. What to speak of the mania that intoxication will help us in our meditation upon the transcendental? Devarshi Narad says, Yamadibhir yog pathay kama lobha taumahu. Even what we acquire by meditation is temporary and has no permanent effect. Only real faith in the line of pure devotion can help us. So the next section reads, Saints, Living Scriptures. Student. So how can we develop our faith in Krishna consciousness? Śrīdhar Mahārāj. How have you come to conceive of Krishna consciousness? Student. By reading Bhagavad Gita. Śrīdhar Mahārāj. Bhagavad Gita from the scriptures. And the scriptures are written by whom? Some saint. So the association of saints and the advice of scriptures are both necessary. The saint is the living scripture, and the scripture advises us in a passive way. A saint can actively approach us, and passively we may receive benefit from the scriptures. The association of the scriptures and the saints can help us achieve the ultimate realization. Sadhu Shastra Kripayahaya. The saints are more powerful. Those who are living the life of the scriptural advice are scripture personified. In their association and by their grace, we can imbibe such higher subtle knowledge and faith. All our experiences are futile in the attempt to attain the ultimate destination. Only faith can lead us there. The spiritual world is far, far beyond the jurisdiction of our limited visual, oral, and mental experience. The experience of the eye, ear, and mind is very meager and limited. But faith can rise up and pierce through this area and enter the transcendental realm. Faith should be developed with the help of scriptures and saints. They will help us understand that this spiritual world is real and this world is unreal. At that time, this material world will be night to us, and that will be day. Presently, the eternal world is darkness to us, and we are awake in this mortal world. What is night to one is day to another. A saint is awake in some matter, and a dacoit thief is working in another plane. They are living in two separate worlds. A scientist is living in one world, a rowdy is living in another. One's day is night to another. The ordinary persons cannot see what Einstein and Newton have seen, and what the ordinary man sees is ignored by a great man. So we have to awaken our interest in that plane and ignore the interests of this plane. Before we get to the next section, which reads World War III, let it be. Just one point I want to discuss with you is that when Guru Mahārāj he emphasizes wholesale dissolution of the false ego, that is very, very hard to, I mean, easier said than done. But there is a verse that kind of summarizes the significance of just that part of the process. You might remember, it says, Ahankara nivrittanam keshavo nahi duraga. Ahankara yutanam hi madhye parvatrashaya. It says, so Ahankar is false ego. Nivrittanam, once it is wholesale dissolved, then Keshava nahi duraga. Then the Lord is very near. But with the false ego intact, Ahankar Gittanam, he madhye parvat rashaya, not just one mountain, but like a range of mountains between you and the Lord. Such is the illusory, or whatever you can say, power of the false ego. It is subtle, but see how powerful it is. So one may have achieved everything in meditation and all of those things, but so long as false ego is intact, there is a mountain range between the Lord and the individual soul. Such is the power of Ahankar.
Prabhu,
Yes.
It's really heavy. It's like a mountain of ego. We have, especially me. I'm not talking about you. You are really, really worshipable. I mean, can you little bit more elaborate on it? Really, how to get rid at least like a inch of it, you know? It is just so hard. No matter how much you try, but still it's there. It never goes away, not even a little bit.
You're absolutely right, and please accept my Dandavat Pranam, Nandarani Didi. Before we get to looking at your question, even with your false ego intact, the dal that you make, I have never tasted that anywhere.
Oh my God.
I don't know how you do it with your false ego intact. It's hard to believe.
See, that's bringing like ego. Yeah, I can make dal. Good.
No.
That's not true.
No, the taste of that is truly, truly divine. So, and that's the most that I miss out of so many other things associating with your good self. Honestly, I'm selfish, but to me, I'm just like tasting the dal. But so long as we are in company or in association of devotees, this is what I feel. Then our false ego always, vis-a-vis our mind, is always in check, and we make solid progress. The moment the mind is let loose, or we let the mind take control of the reins, then through the false ego, then all the dictates of the mind get fed to the false ego, and then we lose track of what is right or wrong, and then we start following the mind and satisfying the false ego. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So because of that, it is advised that any decision or anything, any plans or any activity or any inspiration that one has, it is always advisable, our masters have advised, that you must have some Vaishnavas and some association that you trust and you think, you believe that they're a little advanced and they have your best interest at heart. And so it's always good to share with them all these things openly. So if you read Srila Rupa Goswāmī's Upadeshamrita, so one of the verses, it says, Dadati pratiganhati guhyam akhyati prachati bhunkate bhojate chaiva shadaveda priti lakshanam. So association with devotees, give it a little give and take, disclosing guhyam akhyati prachati, some things like, I may ask or share with Arun Krishna Prabhu or devotees or anyone. I go up to Śrīla Janardhan Mahārāj, and anytime I can, I try and take his association and his advice and so forth. And so like that, if we have that, then I am confident then that if my mind is playing some trick, which it always will, because of the false ego coming into play. And that's how I defeat that entire process, or at least try to do that, or keep it in check at least. And then with continued some semblance of practice, I won't even say there's any practice as far as I'm concerned, but some semblance of practice, some chanting, and more surrender to Harinam, that is a sure process, a proven process to keep all of this in check and have us advance on this path. So honestly, the key thing is, like even Guru Mahārāj is saying, is association is key. we discuss the scriptures, we have this, we have all of the other things is good, but the main thing that we get together as a sangha or otherwise whenever we are associating with devotees, that is the key association, and that association, that exchange really is divine, and that kind of takes care of the false ego for the time being. Then there are further levels. Avasmriti Krishna Padar Vindayoh Kshinoti Abhadrani cha Shamtanoti Sattasya Shuddhim Paramatma Bhaktim Jnanam Vijnanam cha Viraga Yuktam. So when the remembrance becomes constant, right now our remembrance 24/7 of the Lord is really not natural, or we have to practice it. That's what's practice. But when it becomes second nature, when it we are told that there comes a stage where it becomes second nature. At that time, Avasmriti Krishna Padarvindayo Kshinoti Abhadrani, all these negative things, Abhadra, everything that we consider, all the dirt and everything is washed clean very soon. And Shamtanoti. And then the Shuddhi, we rise up to Satta, Shuddha Satta, to that Paramatma level, the super subjective realm. Then we become conversant with all of that. And then Gyan, Vigyan, that really, really solidifies. So that's how we practice, and then it becomes more and more real. So we're advised like that. That's what we try and do. That's the whole idea. And surrender is something that has to, of course, be there, because without that, there is no question of even practice. So unless we are Sharanagat to some extent, depending upon, everyone has different capacity. Guru Mahārāj just said that. Everyone has different capacity. And that is not in my hand or anyone else's hand. So depending on one's capacity, if one is surrendered, and if one is trying to serve, always trying to keep good association as far as possible, as much as possible, then I think all the other finer points in the equation will be supplied.
May I share my thought, Prabhuji?
Please.
I think that was an excellent question. And I think apply it on myself, before coming to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. I would say I had really the Everest of ego. And the question that Nandanani Didi said, how can I even get one layer, 1 inch out of it? That's very, very desirable. And to me, I think if one approaches somebody without envy and checking the envy around in association of Vaishnava Thakurs, our ahankar is suddenly given a rude shock to say, oh, look at this devotee, look at this Vaishnava Thakur. He could have had the world under him. What good fortune he did not have materially. He could be miles ahead of me. And look where he is, how sweet he is, or she is. And the wealth that Vaishnava Thakur, that higher Thakur has achieved, that really attracts us. So the association with such Vaishnavas, that is our treasure. And to me, that is the first layer of self-help that we get, is our ego really gets sized up to say, whatever you thought of yourself, you're nobody. Look at this person. Look at this person. What is it that you see that attractive? What is it that this person cannot have higher ego than you have? But for what reason he has given up that ego? So association with Vaishnavas, to me, I look at so many senior Vaishnavas, including you, Prabhu. Look at Yudhamani Prabhu. That the moment anybody gets in touch with him, one's ego will but naturally be eroded. May not go away completely, but at least get right-sized.
Very true, very true. And if I may, Nandarani Didi, there is that, it's not a verse, but in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kaya, Sadhu Sangha Lava Matra, Sarva Siddhi Hai. Right? So first is we are to be blessed by association, divine association, which by the grace of Srila Govinda Mahārāj, our Gurudev, and our entire parampara, we are blessed by that. And second, from our side is that we have to learn to associate, because that is not mundane association. So when we learn to associate, then we are taking our side of the equation. The other side will balance itself. We are not to worry about how the other side balances. But we learn to associate by service, by surrender, by being tolerant, respectful to others. And if we do that, then we have everything. Lavamatra, sarva siddhiyaya. Sadhu Sangha, lavamatra. Even for lavamatra means even for a fraction of a second. If you let that mundanity away and you associate with the sadhu, then you will have all perfection. All perfection. From the lowest to the highest. And that is the verdict of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you can see how potent this is. And the only thing that we have to take care of, because Gurudev again and again told us, you don't know who is who. You cannot see. So be respectful to everyone. Be tolerant. And he said that, I don't know how many times I've heard so many of his lectures. Every time he ends with this. Pranadapi sunichena, taroriva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtani sadahari. Even that he has given how to associate. But such is my false ego, I will not do it. So that's why it is important to have your mercy, your dal. And so long as I keep getting a good supply of it, my tongue is satisfied.
You started with a dal and you ended with dal.
Well,
a very clever way to put it.
Well, I cannot help it.
It's really, you both of you really explained really well. It's like it's like a reminder, need over and over and over, wake up. The association, the service, surrender. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. We are always happy to have your association, your divine association. You are truly humble, and you exemplify it by how you conduct yourself. So it doesn't need me or anyone else to be a spokesperson to who you are and what you are. And so my full dandavats to you.
My dandavats to all of you, Prabhu.
Namaskar, Anil ji.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna. .
Prabhuji, one aspect of ahankar, at least the way I saw, was ahankar is really thinks I am the greatest, right? Ahankar, I am the doer, and I am the Lord of all that I see. And then one way to really downsize and right size is ऊंट आया पहाड़ के नीचे. When somebody sees the greatness of somebody else, which cannot be matched by your own ahankar, तब वो हथौड़ी वाली चोट लगती है कि तेरा तो बाजा बज गया.
Exactly. Very true.
Right? And then it starts really eroding. And the more we serve and in a mood of service to other devotees, it really helps greatly to, again, pile away and chip away, step by step, the ahankar. It does not go away. I don't care, but at least I can see that I am on the right path.
Exactly. Yes, Anilji.
Yes, Anilji.
So just in the line of the discussion of ahankar, right? So see, it's all so intertwined that even if somebody is saying that I am totally rid of any ahankar, so that itself is an ahankar of that bhavana that you are free from ahankar, right?
Absolutely. It's very insidious.
Well said, Anilji. So that is the thing. Some great personality, or if ahankar is somehow gotten rid of, they will never ever in their heart of hearts believe that. What to speak of saying it?
Right.
Such is the way this devotional line works, and we are told like that because we are told. In fact, the Lord Himself says, "Someone who calls himself my devotee, they are definitely not my devotee."
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, exactly.
Someone who says, "Oh yeah, I'm a devotee." No, they are definitely not my devotee. And one who is a devotee of my devotee, they are the real devotee.
Right.
So that's how this works. And humility, that's how even humility works. Humility is the exact opposite of someone trying to impose, like, no, I'm a bigger or more accomplished devotee than you are. That is not how it works. The higher one elevates, we are told, the more serving attitude they have, the more humility they have. And that's like the exact opposite of how success works in the material world. Right?
Yes, totally. It's north and south.
So it's absolutely opposite. But such is the nature. So since our conception has been turned upside down because of us actually having come into this world, into this temporal reality, we have to cultivate and we have to train on some of these principles to be able to be situated on some realization or some faith. Otherwise, it is impossible, near impossible. If someone is thinking they're like perfect from birth, then they're Vishnu Tattva. Only Vishnu Tattva is perfect from birth. They don't need any education, any external help. Otherwise, Jiva always needs help from higher energy. And that higher energy is Guru Tattva, to rectify themselves. Rectify this false vision that we have developed. Vaishnavism is such a line where we do not hesitate to pay full dandavats to even a 5-year-old child. Prahlad Maharaj, what does he say? At 5 years of age, we're told, at 5 years of age, he says, Nate vidhu swart gatim hi Vishnum. He's summarizing the disease of the materialist. His father being like one of the biggest demons ever. He's saying, Nate vidhu swart gatim hi Vishnum. He's saying swart gati. Swart is a very common word. Self-interest. He says, these people, they do not even know their highest self-interest. Na te vidu swart gatim hi Vishnum. That their highest self-interest is Vishnu, the lotus feet of the Lord. Durashraya ye bahirarthamanina. And they have taken this durashraya. What is ashraya? They have taken durashraya. In bahirarthamanina, in this external environment. Andhayatha andher paniyamanas. And they are pretending as if a blind person is leading another blind man. That is the big politicians, I don't care who they are, any party or anything, they're all the same. There's no difference. Andhayatha andher upaniyamanas. They're just the blind man trying to lead the other blind, a bunch of other blind guys. What conception do you have that you are going to lead 300 or 350 million people or 1 billion people? But you yourself are lacking that. And who said this? The 5-year-old. So that is our line where we, at every given moment, we have to be open to challenge our own conception. Exemplified so many times. Śrīla Vyasadeva, like the topmost personality of his time. And he felt that what he did is inadequate. So many examples. And these are all examples in scriptures. And the Vaishnavas tell us, Gurudev tells us, Param Guru Mahārāj tells us, Acharyas tell us. So we have to start internalizing these more and more. And sanghas, they're like when this so-called pandemic or whatever that this is when this hit, and then we couldn't congregate, but like this kind of online congregation, I think, to me is more effective. I don't know. Maybe to me is more effective, and it can actually spread a lot easier versus before. I'm not saying it's going to stay this way, but like these online sanghas, I think they're really, really potent. So we keep associating, we keep chanting the names of the Lord. Anytime we get some prasadam, we get some mercy, and like this, success is assured. We are not to balance the whole equation, only what's on our side. Yeah. Not to jump on the other side, try and jump on the other side and try to balance it. Yes, Nandrani Didi, sorry.
I just want to say about, like you mentioned about online Sangha, even though I'm getting messages from Bhakti Connect and from you also, even though I am not able to attend them, able to participate them, even just by looking at those messages, it really gives encouragement and some motivation. So it's really good.
Yes. And look at this Bikram and Preeti ji's little daughter. Anika, she pulls her parents. They may be out shopping, this, that, they're, things important, doing important things. She'll always be like, it's Friday, it's about time. You need to be in front of the camera. You need to be attending that session. So sometimes we don't know who the soul is. They may present themselves as a 5-year-old, as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Girl, boy, doesn't matter. Well, we have to respect, we have to see the symptoms, right? By the symptoms, by the intention, then we will see, not by the action. Action will be like of a 5-year-old, will be of a 5-year-old. So we must be cognizant of all these principles, internalize them, and then put them in practice. And guess who will benefit? We will benefit. When we are honoring others, guess who's benefiting? So we are honoring Vaishnava. Vaishnava is already Vaishnava. What will they do with your or my glorification? I'm offering some glorification for what reason? They don't need it. They're already Vaishnava. But that glorification is going to help me. So, just with that understanding. So, before I start getting the theme, the elite Kirtan theme, if anyone wants to reflect or say anything, please go ahead. Give me a moment, I'll be right back.
Dandavata Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavata Ramanand Prabhu.
भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Bhaj Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
Shri Advaita
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda
हरि हराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः
Hari
Krishna Jadavaya Namaha
यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन
Gopala Govinda Madhusudan
गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mahan
श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत चंद्र
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Chaitanya
गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा
Gadadhara Shivasadi Bhaktavinda
जय रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ
Raghunath
श्री श्रील गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ
Sri Gopala Raghunath
इच्छाय गोसाई कोरी चरण वंदन
Jai Gosai Kari Charana Bandhan
जहाँ होते विघ्न नाश अभिष्ट पुराण
Jahagate Vignanasha Vishtapuran
इच्छाय गोसाई जहाँ मुहि तारा दास तसवर पद रेणु मोरा पंचगास
Panchagras
दांडेर चरण से भी भक्त सने बास
Radhe Charan Se Bhakta Sane Vas
जन्म जन्म मोरा ये अभिलाष इच्छाय गोसाई जब ब्रज कोइला बास श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला कोरिला प्रकाश आनंद बोलो हरि भजा वृंदावन श्री गुरु वैष्णव पादे मजैया मान श्री गुरु वैष्णव पाद पद्म कोरियास हरि नाम संकीर्तन को है नरोत्तम दास हरि हराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः
Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga.
Joy. Okay, Anika ji, please take it away.
Jai Satrika Shri Shri Guru Granth Gandhar Gopinath Sundar Dar Gopi Laju Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Shpat Mangshā Pravar Chakrada Prayasa Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Shpat Mangshā Pravar Chakrada Prayasa Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Rasaksha Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Shpat Mangshā Pravar Chakrada Prayasa Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Sanatana Sastri Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Shpat Shri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Shpat Shri Nanda Bhakti Nada Thakur Ki Jai.
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 Jai Om Shpat Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Upanugar Varga Ki Jai.
Jai.
Namaskar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Baladeva Vidyabhushan Ki Jai.
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 Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhu Ki Jai.
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 Shri Narottam Shyama Mandar Shri Vaishnava Chart Prabhu Ki Jai.
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 Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai.
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 Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Saprasada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Saprasada Shri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Girdhar Govardhan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Lakshmi Vardeva Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri the Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Nrsimhadeva Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakta Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai.
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 Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai.
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 Ganga Jamna Ji Ki Jai.
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 Antaraja Shri Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charmatra Ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishwa Vaishnava Sabha Ki Jai.
Jai.
Akarat Mat Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai.
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 Tridesika Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishpa Pabhyata Desika Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Damarpur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Damnabadeep Ki Jai.
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 Vrindavan Pursatam Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Baladeva Subhadra Jagna Ji Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Govinda Kunda Ki Jai.
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 Shri Shri Shiva Ganga Ji Ki Jai.
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 Samaveta Vaishnava Mandal Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nitya Gopnande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Bikram ji and family ki jai.
Jai.
Divine panelist Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai. जय नंदरानी दीदी की जय, जय श्री अनिल जी की जय,
Jai.
जय श्रीला भक्ति पावन जनार्दन महाराज की जय,
Jai.
जय श्रीला भक्ति निर्मल आचार्य महाराज की जय,
Jai.
श्री चैतन्य सारस्वत मठ आचार्य वृंद की जय,
Jai.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य वर स्तोत्र सता श्री श्रीमद श्रीला भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय,
Jai.
विश्ववरेण्य श्रीला एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय,
Jai.
नित्याय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।
श्रीपद जयराम प्रभु की जय, आबा दीदी की जय, लीड कीर्तन ग्रुप की जय।
Jai.